When people were asking me, like, why are you not dating anybody? I'm just like, well, why are you dating this person that's shitty?
That.
So it's just like, yes, it was definitely uncomfortable for me because I always felt like I needed to explain myself because I'm a woman of a certain age, and girl,
Not a woman of a certain age.
Can't be
I'm
a
a woman
spinster
of a
out in the
certain
street.
age. This is the I'm Uncomfortable podcast, the podcast for people who want to be okay with being uncomfortable. We're your hosts, Vanessa
And Melissa.
Welcome back to another episode of the podcast where we invite people to become the fullest versions of themselves by learning and growing from their uncomfortable moments. And as always, we'd love to kick it off with our uncomfortable moments. Melissa, I feel like we have a very similar one. If you're a girly girl, you know that getting your nails done can sometimes be a tumultuous experience. Maybe that's the word for it, to get the nails done just right. And I recently got mine done, and I was racing to the nail salon today because one of them decided that they wanted to break on both sides. It was so weird. I don't know if I hit it or what, but there were two cracks, one on either side of my nail.
Oh.
And they were like slowly creeping to high five each other in the middle, which would then mean, of course, that the nail would just break off. And I was like, no, I just got these like a week and a half ago. No, stop it.
I think we're living the same life.
Did you? Or are we?
Yeah. But you continue yours, and I'm going to see if it...
No, I raced to get mine done. And then the guy is repairing the nail, which I'm grateful that he could even magically, like, keep it alive. And then he puts on the polish, and he goes, okay, you're good. And I look down, and I was like, that's the wrong color. Like, that's clearly silver, sir. And these are not silver nails. So he goes, oh.
Is it gel?
It is gel.
Is it what? It's one of those things where it's like, do I say something or do I not say
I could have legit walked out with one silver ass pointer finger. Like,
it could have been a vibe. You know?
Well, I tried the cat eye nail thing for the first time. I really liked it. Yeah. I don't know if I'll do it again because I'm broke now after going to Hawaii, but but it was fun. Did your nail break?
Yeah, so I recently got these done this weekend.
Oh, yes, the green, cute.
Yeah, the sage green cat eye, which this has to be like my favorite set of nails that I've had in a long time. But when I was starting my new job, I had this whole vision.
Well, you had the blue nails.
Yeah, exactly.
For water.
Yes, exactly. So I had those nails. I was growing out my natural nails on purpose. I hadn't been doing my nails. I was doing like press-ons on and off, like throughout this whole year, really. So I was feeling real good about my nails. And I know that on my birthday in July, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get my nails done. And then when it came to the set that I had, the blue French tip cat eye nails that I wanted to get in celebration of my new job.
Yeah.
I went and got them at the nail salon that I had been going to over the past couple of years. And honestly, I embraced them, but they weren't the best. It was one of those things where I was like
the quality wasn't? Oh.
So like with cat eye, and it was my first time getting cat eye, and so I didn't really know what the proper way is. Yeah. But I knew for a fact that like even just a normal French tip, the way that the lady was doing it was not
it. Oh my god, wait, you're gonna die. I have to tell you a story that I heard today at the nail salon about a cat eye French tip gone wrong.
Okay. So, yeah. What happened? Is this like a normal thing then?
Maybe. Okay, so they told me, so the guy who did my nails, his name is Kevin. No shade to Kevin. Like, he was doing his best, except wrong color. And I guess... so the woman who was still at the salon when I walked in, I guess she's like regular at the salon, so she was there to see this whole thing happen, and she was making fun of him. She was like, "Not the cat eye again, Kevin." And I was like, what's going on? I guess a 16-year-old or just a teenage girl had come in. It was her birthday party. She had a couple of her friends with her. They were gonna go to the little Kyoto Palace restaurant in the plaza, which is like a Benihana. So they had a reservation. They were gonna get dessert after, like, the whole thing, a whole cute little thing. And she wanted a cat eye, a French tip cat eye. And when he was done, I guess it didn't look exactly like the pictures. And so she was really upset about it and crying upset about the nails not looking the same, which I understand. We've all been there. But I'm old enough to know that I can't cry about it. I'm just going to move on with my life. But so I guess we
can regulate our emotions a little bit.
Well, yeah, the hormones aren't as intense. So they like went ahead and redid her nails, and I guess it just still was not looking exactly like the picture, which, I mean, you can't expect it to look exact, but she's young. So anyways, so now she's sobbing and she's irate because
her parents?
I don't know. Because not only are her nails now looking like not what she wanted, but they're also missing the reservation time for their dinner and like late to their subsequent activities and just not a good time.
It was like a domino effect of
despair. And so she was making fun of Kevin because Kevin was the one that was working on her nails at first. Fucked up. And so she walked over to me. She's like, this is what the girl wanted. So I guess she had gotten a French tip cat eye, and she was like, but it didn't look exactly as pronounced, right, as like in the picture at that like exact angle. And so she was like flipping out. So maybe at least you didn't have her experience.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like I was getting those
like,
nails
but the thing is, I did.
No. It was overall fine. Like it wasn't like I was not gonna sob about these nails, but it was not exactly what I thought it was. Just even if it were just a normal French, like that's what kind of put me off about it. Like I was okay with the cat eye being a little wonky, but it was even the French tip. Like it should all feel even.
What?
So the tips were like thicker because it was the cat eye. Like she had put multiple layers of the cat eye on, which I think negates the effect of the cat eye. So like the French tip should still be flat. Like this is like a solid color. Well, she airbrushed first and then put the cat eye on top, but like she only put one layer of cat eye.
It's
should
so
only
interesting because your cat eye looks different than my cat eye.
Well, like, you have like a design, no?
No, this is just like what she did.
Oh no, she did the well, it's the way that they put the magnet on there.
Yeah, I have literally no idea, so this is fine. I don't care. Whatever.
Anyways, long story short, like the reason why I say are we living the same life is because a week into my job, I already feel like this one's about to go.
Oh
my
God.
I felt like it wasn't sturdy. Like these are my favorite set of nails. It's because they feel sturdy. She made sure to reinforce with gel underneath. Anyways, so 1 week in, I had gotten that crack that you're talking about, like along here and then along the other side.
No.
And I put like for myself, because I was like, I don't have time to go back to the salon. Yeah. And so then the same thing started happening on this nail. And then by the end of week 2 of this new job, that I was just like shaking people's hands with a broke ass nail. And I was just like, whatever. No one really cares. No one actually cares about it. But for me, it was like, it cracked in a really, like right at the bud of my nail. So it hurt. It was like painful. And then I had to like put a Band-Aid over it. It was a whole thing.
It's like one of those little, like when you have a small pebble stuck in your shoe and you can't take your shoe off yet to get the pebble out. Yeah. And it's like such a small inconvenience, but it like erodes your entire just like being.
Yeah. And so I was like, I don't think, and it's just funny because even as I was getting my nails, like before I got my nails done for that set, I was getting my nails done with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then I was telling him, I'm getting nervous, like, because I've never asked for this before. And he's like, okay, repeat it to me. What is it that you want? You want a French tip, cat eye,
not him making you literally repeat.
He wants me to feel confident in asking for what I want. And so I was even like happy I was like, okay, this is what I want. And so it was just so disappointing when it was just like a week later, anyways, I was able to go into a new salon that I really like. I was like at 2.5 weeks, I was like, I'm done.
Okay, well, now you have found a new trustworthy spot. It's hard sometimes to find a spot where you're going to leave like happy.
Because it makes me feel so good when I'm tippy-tapping on my key.
Well, yeah, let's not get too excited yet. But anyway, that's a whole saga. But we're happy now. Our nails are fixed. Everything's okay. We can live our lives in peace. Oh my God, there's a fly in this room right now. It just attacked me. I don't understand what's going on.
I saw. It was a big one.
Yeah. Ew. Okay, we're gonna have to pause while I get rid of this situation right now. Like, what the fuck? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna start screaming if it comes back. Now I have to edit this whole chunk out, which is funny. I'm back. Everything's fine. That was uncomfortable. And that's fine, because it's important to make yourself uncomfortable, which is actually what we're talking about today.
This is very true.
What a segue. Thanks, Fly.
Thanks,
Don't
Fly.
Come back. Don't come back. Anyways. So the premise of our entire podcast is making ourselves uncomfortable. And we are going to get into why it even matters to make yourself uncomfortable today. Because I was not a believer in making myself uncomfortable in the past.
Oh, I was like...
Does this surprise you? Oh, or did you think I meant like now?
Like currently.
Like
I was like, well, our whole podcast is named.
You're like, actually, maybe we should change the name of the podcast or get a new co-host. You done so. But no, I mean, can you honestly, well, maybe you can, I don't know. Do you think that you were okay with being uncomfortable before we started talking about it and pushing ourselves to be this way? I mean, we were always uncomfortable, but I mean, like...
I think in some aspects and some more, I think it's all about really the areas that you're more willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Sometimes I felt like I think we had talked about this. I have vague memories of us talking about how I felt more comfortable confronting things in a work situation versus a home situation or a family situation. I'm able to push through the discomfort in more like professional settings versus when I'm dealing with like loved ones and people that are close to me. And so I think that willingness to push and put myself into uncomfortable situations can be categorized into different areas of levels of willingness to do so, you know?
It's just interesting to hear you say that because I feel like people actually often struggle with the whole being uncomfortable at work thing in a lot of ways but maybe it's because they see it as a different kind of category.
Yeah, I don't know. I see it as a completely different category. I don't have as much like investment in these people at work versus the people that I've chosen to be my friends and my family.
That's so interesting.
So it's like not that I don't care more, it's more so like I have more to lose when it comes to uncomfortable things with my personal life.
Okay, yeah. I think that's interesting too because depending on where you work, right, and how long you've been there, because I have been at work so long now, and I know these people. I've known them for a while, and yeah, of course, I wouldn't say that we're all as close as you and I are in any sense, but it does also feel high stakes at work because the work, like teaching, being in this position, the work feels so personal. And I think especially as a teacher, when something is going wrong, you feel like it's like your fault, or when you're not doing well, you're in your classroom by yourself. There's no one else to blame. So it's just like an interesting perspective to feel like there's different levels or categories of discomfort.
Of willingness to be just like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you think of a time where you've recently, or maybe not recently, that has made you really uncomfortable?
Yeah. I mean, I've probably beat this to death, but if you're new, I was engaged once upon a time.
Yeah. I mean, relationships ending, having those conversations are deeply uncomfortable.
Okay, well, let me pivot because, like, I think past that, I found myself in this unique situation of having to learn to date because all of my past relationships had come from a shared setting. You know, I had my high school sweetheart. We obviously met in high school. My ex-fiance and I had met in college. There were organic kind of opportunities for us to both meet and to develop our friendship / then also relationship and all those built-in shared experiences. Yeah. And now fast forward 7 years later and I'm not in college, not in high school, I'm working and very much in the era of the online dating, which is in and of itself a whole other like beast. And then also my work environment is mostly women or amazing gay men and some straights, but also I'm not a big believer in dating where I work because our company is small. And company, lol, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
organization, yeah.
People talk, and if anything went wrong, and also I just, like, whatever, I just wasn't doing it. So where does one meet someone else?
How do adults meet outside of organizational, like school and like other like significant chapters where you are surrounded
this is a whole other podcast topic, but I've listened to a bunch of different episodes on it, and this idea of there not being a third space for adults or a natural organic way to meet people and form connections, not just romantically but also friendships, has really harmed us as a society, and COVID definitely didn't help, isolating us even further. So we just kind of stay within our little bubbles and we don't go out and explore and meet new people. And even now sometimes I feel like I'm just so awkward about talking to strangers, when in reality that should be a thing that we do. Yeah, I do.
If you feel that way.
That's really funny.
As the extrovert between the two of us.
I know. Even today at the nail salon, though, that lady was being so friendly, and I was just like, are you supposed to talk to me right now? Like, we're in the nail salon. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's so dumb when I think about it. Like, but at the same time, it does hurt us, and so I had to really learn how to date. And I tried... So the most uncomfortable, there was a pendulum swing, because there was a period of time where I was like, you know what, girls just want to have fun. I'm just gonna go out there and just be very casual about it. No strings attached, hookup culture, you do you, girl. Yeah. And I realized quite quickly that actually that just was not really for me.
You've always been a relationship girly.
I have always been a relationship girly, and I don't know why I tried to deviate from the relationship core, but I tried it.
You're figuring it out. Yeah.
I was, and I don't know. That was really uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
I'm just not a natural, casual hooker-upper, and like
don't say hooker.
I'm not a natural hooker either. I feel like I'd be really bad at it, actually.
You know what? Yeah, I thought about that too as just like a joke in conversation that has come up. It's like, would I even be able to manage like a sugar daddy situation, like an escort situation? No,
I'm too awkward, and I end up feeling bad, which is like not the mentality that you should have as a sugar baby at all. Literally the opposite. They should feel bad for you, and therefore they're trying to give you money and finance your life. But I'd be like, are you sure you want to give this to me? Yeah. I'm really okay. And then
you'd be the worst.
Even the people that I was like casually trying to hook up with, we would then hook up like a second time or a third time, and then we'd like go to dinner, and I was like, this is not that casual
anymore. Yeah.
But also it is. One time one of the guys texted me. We'd hooked up like twice, and he was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I met someone, so I probably won't be hitting you up anymore. And I was like, that's really kind of you to let me know. I didn't even expect you to communicate. I hope you're happy.
Oh my god. Well, wow, these are literally very unique situations to like the online dating life that you didn't even expect to be like communicated with.
No, but then that was like a really eye-opening experience about, okay, maybe we read a book. So I was reading How to Not Die Alone, which is a fabulous book, actually. It was very helpful. That and a couple of other ones. And it was just, okay, I was like, okay, let me learn. Let me actually try to be intentional and think about what I actually want. And like, wow, crazy, what I wanted in college and high school definitely isn't what I want anymore. But I had to learn all that, and I had to try to force myself to like be intentional about setting the date, be intentional on the date, reframe my thinking about what I was looking for and how I was looking for it. And that was hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
And I know people are like,
inner work.
okay, but I don't think people talk about it often enough, about what it really takes to like date with intention, or like be do the work, the inner work. And I know you were really good about, I'm not going to force it, or I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to force myself into a situation just because I feel like I should be doing it. And I was like, oh my God, how is Melissa doing this? Like, was that uncomfortable for you?
I mean, yes. And like when I reflect on it, I mean, I don't regret any of that, because I purposely wasn't on the apps and things like that. It just didn't feel.
Did you
right
try though? Was there a period of time where you tried the apps at all?
I mean, girl, I downloaded Bumble, and then I swiped no to everybody. So I was just like, no, this is not how it's gonna happen. Every time I got new matches, I said no to all of them. Like, literally. Not
you matching with them because you were like, maybe, and then you're like, ugh, just kidding.
Oh wait, yeah, I guess that's how Bumble works, right?
Yes.
That they give me, yeah.
You literally denied your own choices.
And then I may have done one other app, and literally I hated putting together the profile of myself, and I was like,
oh, that was awful. Okay, yeah, but part of the research I also did was listening to, like, I think it was like Logan Ury and Vanessa Van Edwards talking about first impressions and dating profiles and what are you actually conveying. And I didn't think that there was a problem with what I was conveying. And I was like, well, maybe there is. I don't know. So let me try. Like,
look at you.
And the problem, it's me.
But I mean, like, in reflecting about that time, I loved being single. I've talked about it many times. I did feel uncomfortable because I always felt like the single person in the friend group. A lot of our friends were in long-term relationships, or they were dating, and I was just kind of like the single friend for like 5 years or whatever it was.
You really were.
Yeah. And like, part of me, I built confidence in that, like loving my alone time, being on my own, and that whole thing. But at the same time, when I was asked about those things, it was very uncomfortable, because I was just like, why? I also sometimes felt like I could become defensive about it when people were asking me, like, why are you not dating anybody? I'm just like, well, why are you dating this person that's shitty?
That.
So it's just like, yes, it was definitely uncomfortable for me, because I always felt like I needed to explain myself because I'm a woman of a certain age, and girl,
not a woman of a certain age.
I'm a woman of a certain age.
I actually don't think that that's why. Well, I can't speak for everybody. Actually,
it's more so like aunties, and the classic thing, those questions, where's your boyfriend? Like, do you have a boyfriend?
Yeah, and that's for everyone though. But I feel like people our age did also have a reaction to you not dating, myself included.
And also, like, I was uncomfortable with that, but also had to realize that cool, that's their reaction, and that's fine, and it's not about me.
Well, but like, also the clap back though was so real. Like, okay, I'm not dating, but you're dating someone shitty, so which one's worse? And to be honest, the second one's worse. Yeah, exactly. But at least for me personally, I was curious more about, like, not on the auntie level of you need a boyfriend, blah blah blah. That wasn't it for me. I was just kind of like, this is really interesting. Are you not uncomfortable? Just because I'm the opposite, right? Where I was avoiding being alone because it made me uncomfortable, whereas you were avoiding being with the wrong person because that you knew for you was way more uncomfortable.
Yeah, I knew what it was like to be like shattered into a billion pieces and not know who I was at the end of it. So that's the uncomfortable part. I don't want to dive into that again. Like, that situation.
It's so interesting too. I think if I'd had that same experience of a breakup, maybe I too would have been like, absolutely not. I'm gonna be single. And I think I did reach a period after one of my past literally one, just I've only had the one toxic one and I moved on. But like after that, I very much understand why one might be like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm so good. Yeah. So I get that. Which is
why I think the most uncomfortable thing, like, in recent times has been accepting, like, being happy in this relationship with.
How dare you? How dare you decide to be happy with this person?
How dare I?
The audacity.
The audacity. But yeah, no, if we're gonna stay in the realm of like dating uncomfortable situations related to dating, it's like that next step was after 5 years of not dating. It's like I didn't know anything else except being single and loving that. And so that is hard to comprehend. Like,
no, it is. But I'm really glad that you had that experience. Mm-hmm. And I'm also glad that I was able to embrace the joy of being single. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the time I was like shattered and distraught after my engagement ending, right? Like, not because he was the wrong person and it was awful, but just because I was reaching so far beyond my own comfort level. It would have been uncomfortable, but yet easier if I had just continued to stay in that. You know, there's a certain level of discomfort that's tolerable, and I think a lot of us live in that area, and we don't often push ourselves to just, you know, go really intensely towards it and into it and through it.
Yeah, because that's scary.
Because it's scary. So then I want to just reflect too with you on the difference that's made in our lives and how it feels when you're going through it. Because everyone always says it'll get better, and everyone says there's only up from here. But sometimes it's like, well, how do I know I'm at the bottom? And that there's not just more down.
How does one know that there's no more down? How can you be so sure we are on the up and up?
Right. How does one know this is in fact the floor? And what if the floor is lava?
Because the floor be lava sometimes. The floor be lava.
I don't know if it's just that you have to mentally trick yourself and just be like, this is it. This is it. It can't get any worse. It really can't.
I suppose. Maybe. I mean, I think a lot of these things, like, is a lot of the discomfort and going through it is figuring out how to shift your perspective of it. I think that is part of the part of that getting to the other side. You know? And then coming to terms with that that change or whatever it is that made you uncomfortable. And I think the reason why people avoid change or being uncomfortable in general is because it is scary to not know what's on the other side of it.
It is scary. It's terrifying. Yeah.
So it's really a fear of the unknown, of what you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
That's true.
Of the situation that you're putting yourself through. We're assuming that you are,
we're assuming in fact, you're choosing
initiating this on your own.
Well, there is, I think, something also to be said for when you haven't initiated it and now it's just uncomfortable and you didn't think this was going to happen and you're in the what can I learn from it phase, which is also a hard space to be in because you weren't trying to learn anything. You were just trying to vibe.
You're like, I'm just trying to exist.
I'm just trying to live.
And then the floor became lava.
And the floor became lava, correct.
And now I must deal with dealing with the floor being lava, and I don't know how to do that.
To be fair, though, I think you are right. I think that's such a big piece of the discomfort, literally, is the perspective change. Because now you're just, like, accepting that this is your new reality and having to either, in my case, right, like, relearn how to do something or, like, really sit with the fact that you didn't have it figured out before in the way that you thought you did. And it's not just dating, but just in general. Yeah. And now, what do you do? There is such a moment. There's a moment of what am I doing or what do I do? That part's
or
really
like,
uncomfortable.
Like after you come to the realization, you're like, what now?
I think in the acceptance, like right before the acceptance phase, because it's like, okay, well, if that is the reality,
that
then
acknowledgement part.
What now?
Yeah.
What is next? What do I do? And as Jillian says to me, you don't always have to do something about it. Sometimes sitting in it is enough. But even sitting in it is quite uncomfortable, let me say. Because you're just
because you have to exist in it, in the discomfort. But I guess I want to ask, because as we're wrapping this conversation up, it's like after sharing all of these uncomfortable situations that we've been through, when posing it to our audience, why do we need to go through these kinds of uncomfortable things, or why do we need to push ourselves, initiate uncomfortable,
the discomfort,
the discomfort, the uncomfortable moments or things that you've been avoiding.
Well,
for me, it's like sometimes doing the big scary thing, it doesn't have to be that. Maybe it needs to just be something small. Like, start small and work towards the end goal. Maybe that's a little bit more digestible for your level of willingness to be uncomfortable.
Sure.
Because not everyone can do the big leap.
Well, it wasn't a big leap, though, is the thing. And I will say that...
You don't think ending your engagement was a big leap, Vanessa?
I don't think it was actually a big leap in the sense that it wasn't all of a sudden. And I think that we assume that big life changes are always all of a sudden. And they're really oftentimes not. And maybe it was Oprah, because I love Oprah. We know that. Maybe it was her. And she was talking about how when you are going down the wrong path, the universe will push you gently, and then when you don't listen, more forcefully, and when you still don't listen, then very aggressively down the path that you need to be going on. And when I reflect back, when I first read that, I was like, okay, the universe, hoo-ha, blah, 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 right? I have not always been a big universe believer. But when I reflect back on that experience and other uncomfortable experiences, the times that I have been unaligned in what I actually want, believe, you can call it the universe's path if that's what moves you, but just whatever. Or you can say not being true to who I authentically was. Well, you can call it whatever you want. But that idea, it is true. Like, things just got progressively more uncomfortable until one day it was so deeply, utterly, paralyzingly uncomfortable that literally you have no choice but to make that quote-unquote big change. Yeah. But you've already been being pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, that by the time that decision comes to make that change, you're ready for it, even though it might not feel like it or seem like it, because it's just so overwhelmingly uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just pushing you, and it's like, oh, you didn't listen the first time? Here's another curveball. Maybe you'll listen this time. Oh, no? Okay, let's make it worse for you.
Yeah. I just think, too, though, like, there's those situations, but like we mentioned, or I think you mentioned earlier, brought up earlier, that people will just accept it, like accept being like uncomfortable as their reality.
They will until they can't take it anymore. And then I think something happens. Either you make a change and you are like, I can no longer, and I think when it's unhealthy, we develop substance abuse problems, is my theory.
That's kind of where I was going with that. It was just like, I think there's people in the world that have then turned it on themselves as like an outlet, like self.
Well, because I have. Not that I've ever been deeply addicted to anything. I feel very fortunate that that's not the case, that I don't have that. But we all numb sometimes to a certain extent with substances, whether it's alcohol or weed or whatever, and you find distractions. Yeah. And that was also part of my journey, was finding distractions, ways to distract myself or numb myself from the discomfort, especially as it was getting progressively more uncomfortable. Yeah. And luckily I have you in a community that encourages therapy and talking and working through it, and people who have been there for me through those hard times. And as annoying as I was to listen to, are still my friends, thank you. But not everyone is that lucky. And so that's also part of it, is what can you use as a resource that isn't a way
to support you through discomfort.
To support you through it, not just mask it, right? Yeah. Because that's the hard part. At least I think so.
Because I think it's easy to like lean on people to help with distractions. Yeah. But it's harder to really lean on people to like help you.
That's a really good point. Yeah, because you can also use people as distractions, friends included. It's that's so fun, so easy. Yeah.
We're just having a good time.
Just a good time. I'm just here for a good time.
But I'm also very sad.
But I'm also really struggling. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that is a good way to kind of wrap this up, is you know, it's good to push yourself sometimes, like remind yourself that this big uncomfortable moment that you're maybe dealing with you need to realize that it was probably something leading up to it, like all of this discomfort,
all of the discomfort,
coming to, like this arc.
Yeah.
In the plot twist of your life.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking, like, how do I be okay with the being uncomfortable part? Maybe it is telling yourself, I'm gonna look back later and realize what this was all leading towards. I can't see it right now, and that's okay. But I'm gonna see it eventually.
Yeah, and one of my favorite little mantras is, I'm not okay right now, but I will be.
Oh my gosh, that was so helpful to me when I was going through it. When you told me that, I was like, I think I, like, put it on a little Canva thing and put it on my phone. I'm not okay right now, but I will be. And I would just repeat that to myself over and over because it's true. You just need to. Sometimes you just need to. Or you can ask yourself, like, what am I already learning from this? Because
that's a nice one. That's even a level, like, up. Like,
you're already, through the discomfort, you're already learning about what you like, don't like, need or don't need. It's all learning.
Yeah.
I think people really struggle when they don't take it as a learning experience. That's when I've struggled. That's when I've resisted it as a learning experience, to be honest.
Yeah. Then you gotta learn the hard way.
Which, as I've said, is my favorite hobby, so...
It's your favorite subconscious way to learn.
I'm trying to pick up new ways, you guys. I'm trying to pick up new hobbies.
Keep myself on my toes.
But yeah, so there's your take on us feeling uncomfortable and being okay with it and actually welcoming it. I do welcome it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If there's a nice challenge, I'm like, okay. If I'm uncomfortable, okay. I'm deeply uncomfortable a lot lately in this job. If you haven't listened to episode 1 about my new job, you should.
We're all uncomfortable.
We're all just deeply uncomfortable. But as I said, I should just ask myself, what am I learning from this?
I need to ask myself that more often now that I'm thinking about it. What am I learning about this situation right now as I'm feeling it?
As I'm in it.
This minute, this moment. But yeah, we have so much more uncomfortable topics on the docket for this season. So if you aren't following us, here's your friendly reminder too. And if you're feeling extra generous today, rate us and leave us a little review on the platform. We like to go in and read the little comments.
We do.
Look at the little stars, and hopefully it's a 5-star. You
know, if there's one gift you can give us, please.
One gift you can give us.
Give us a rating.
It definitely helps our show somehow. Yeah. And with that, we'll see you next week. Want more of the I'm Uncomfortable podcast? Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at imuncomfortable.podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Facebook group, the I'm Uncomfortable Club, to gain early access to our episodes and exclusive content. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.